Hello, hello, beautiful, beautiful soul sisters. Today is Sunday, December 22nd, 2024, and the moon is half waning in Libra. And I actually just recorded live moon soul messages on Instagram, but could not figure out how to save the video after. So I shuffled those cards back in, and we're going to start anew here with this video for you guys on YouTube. And yeah, I'm excited to see what comes through. I'm sitting here outside on the mountain. The sun is, behind the clouds back there. There is still no snow. We keep wishing for snow, doing snow dances, and no snow. But I'm sure it will come, just not as it often does. Most years at this time, there is a blanket of snow that does not melt on the ground. If you've been following along for a while, you may have noticed that I did not publish or share moon messages on the full moon that we just had about a week ago. And I also didn't publish my podcast, which I normally do on the full moon and the new moon, the heart of the soul. And I did record something about the solstice yesterday, hoping that I could download it and share it here too, but it didn't work. So just wanted to quickly give you a little update and tell you why there were no full moon messages. And that is because two Wednesdays ago, my father-in-law had, it was the Wednesday before the full moon that was on Sunday, he had a sudden, unexpected heart attack at home. He was airlifted to a hospital, received the best treatment that he could, and yet his heart was damaged, and so we spent days in the hospital with him, my husband, my kids, my mother-in-law. Some extended family came from out of town to see him. We held his hand, spoke to him, although we never received any sort of, response back from him verbally. And he took his last breath early in the morning on the 17th. So it's been a big couple of weeks, and we're in it. We're in the grief and the waves and being with each other and just allowing these days to be what they need to be. And so I allowed myself not to record the full moon messages, not to do all the effort, expend all the effort. I just didn't have the capacity or the time to get my podcast ready to publish it. But I feel good and ready to be back here today on this half moon towards our next new moon that is it's on my son's 8th birthday, which feels pretty special. I'm holding some rose quartz here in the shape of a heart, which is just a beautiful heart opening stone. And I have Rebecca Campbell's Ancient Stone deck. I'm gonna draw 2 cards from this deck, sandwiched around a card from this Autumn Sky beautiful deck. And I'm so curious to see if any of the same cards will come through, or if there will be 3 new cards here for you on YouTube. So thank you again for listening. I believe that these messages are not for everyone, but they are for you if you're here tuned in and listening to them. I love leaning into the spirit realm and asking my guides and spirit to guide me here and inspire the words and cards that come through. So let's see what our first card is today. Good luck, auspicious, wishes granted, blessings. Ooh, what a beautiful card with these stones and this light and this woman walking towards this light. This feels like a beautiful omen for this moment. I love how the sunlight is right up there as well. I definitely feel the auspicious nature of this time. We just crossed the threshold in the northern hemisphere of winter solstice was yesterday. So that was the day of the greatest darkness of the whole year. And now today we're leaning into the returning of the light, and each day we will have minutes more of daylight. And that feels really magical. And if you have maybe been feeling sort of like me at times in my life, I feel like I go through these moments of, do I have, like, am I bad luck? Like, and I feel like this card, I'm almost gonna cry, but it feels like this reminder that good luck is headed your way, headed my way. You are not bad luck. You know, in life, just bad things happen to good people. Bad things happen to bad people. Bad things just, and are they even necessarily bad? Is that the right language to put on it? You know, a lot of people consider death to be bad, or we might view something like a pivot or a door closing in our face to be a bad thing in that moment because we wanted to go through that particular door. And yet sometimes the closing of that door leads us to turn and pivot and look a different way. And that sometimes those other ways are the best path, and we wouldn't necessarily have gone that way if it hadn't been required of us and if we hadn't been forced into it. So if there have been these moments recently where you feel like, oh, I thought like this, I was going this way. I'm in my husband's cozy sweater, by the way, big sweater for me. You know, you're going one direction and your goals and you're oriented that way, and something shifts and that's no longer possible. It can feel like, well, then why was I putting all this effort towards this thing? And yet I believe that oftentimes these can be divine redirections, and that it might not be clear for weeks or months or even years, but I hope that maybe when you look back that you can see, oh, actually that was like the preferred path. And if I could even choose it for myself in that moment, retrospectively, I would have. So I don't know. What do you feel? Have you had moments like that in your life? Are there aspects you can look back on and be like, oh my gosh, yeah. Like, I mean, I can right now coming to my mind is a relationship, a man that I was in love with, and I wanted to be with him no matter what. And just, I'm actually so grateful that he chose someone else, and that allowed me the space and openness to look for and find my true love, and the man that I am married to, the one that I created children with. So yeah, curious if you have some times like that in your life as well. Okay. So here is this card here. How beautiful. Fierce love. Fierce love. It has these like series of little sayings on the back, and I have been taught that you can orient them to I statements, which I feel are really, I don't know, I think it's a good way to be. So I'm going to say them and then pause, so that if you also want to pause in this moment and repeat any of these statements back, if that feels good to you, you have the opportunity to do so. My vulnerability is strength. I establish healthy boundaries. I love regardless of reciprocation. I have integrity in all actions. Everyone is doing their best with the tools that they have. I transmute fear into love. Now, you might have noticed that my name, Amana Be Love here. Be Love has been my mantra for, I think, close to 15 years now. It came to me, it found me, and I fully embraced it. And it's been such a beautiful practice to find all the times that I can choose to be love instead of something else, and to share that with the world. And of course, like when we practice anything, it gets easier as the more we do it. It just gets easier and easier. And not that I don't feel angry or sad. I absolutely allow myself to go into the depths of those emotions as well. But there are also many times when it just feels so good to just lean into the love and lean forward or transmute some other emotion that I'm feeling into love. So if you have been feeling, maybe you've been wanting to have a certain conversation with somebody and you've been a little scared to do so. I know for me, like doing these messages, or like I just recorded them live, like that for me feels like a next level and an edge for me to be sharing something live. But remember that finding the courage to do something, even if it feels vulnerable and hard, that when we walk through that, then on the other side, like we learn something from each of those things. And each time we walk through fear, that it gets easier. I believe it gets easier. Has it gotten easier for you? And healthy boundaries. Oh my goodness. I am a recovering people pleaser to the max. I went from the good girl to the good mother to the good woman, whatever, and always wanted to please people, didn't speak up. And it has been a huge practice that began in my 30s. Now I'm 42, of establishing healthy boundaries in all sorts of ways with people who absolutely love me. But if they don't understand or know where a boundary is, that's actually on me. And it took me some time to figure that out and find loving and stern sometimes ways to establish boundaries with the people in my life. So if this is a practice you're developing, know that it doesn't happen overnight. It's okay. Like with most things, it's like, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. And there's this like ebb and flow. And know that even the smallest boundary that you might uphold is huge and makes an incredible impact. Okay. One more card here from this ancient stone oracle. The records. Remember why you came. Be bold. Legacy. Wow. Okay. This just totally follows up to the whole, what did she say here? Maybe it doesn't. Okay, well, maybe that was a different card that I pulled for the other one, but it still feels very much in alignment with this card that I just read about, and boundaries and love and remembering. Yes, remember why you came. I believe that we all have this blueprint, and we all have the opportunity to either lean into and towards why we're here. And sometimes there are times when we are living it more and maybe living it less. But some people, I think, get here and totally forget why they're here and don't even work on it at all, which is a choice and part of life. And we're not all, I do in some ways feel like we're all heading to the same place in the end. But if you have been worried about being who you are and being bold, remember that, you know, our lives are our legacy. Like, we have the paintbrushes to our own life. It's not somebody else painting your life. You are painting and creating your life. So I would just love to encourage you to be bold, walk through that fear, that with fierce love. Remember that your vulnerability is your strength, that it's not always easy. Some of the most important acts or words that we do or share in life are actually not easy. And life isn't meant to be all easy. I do believe that there is meant to be ease within life and times of easefulness. And there is power in working hard and doing something that we're afraid to do. So yes, remember that luck is on your side. Your ancestors are with you. They are blessing your actions. So move forward on your actions that you feel called to do with fierce love and strength, with healthy boundaries, and transmute your fear into love. And remember why you came. Be bold. Be fierce. Find the legacy that feels resonant with your heart and soul. Not what someone else is doing, not what you think you should be doing, not what someone told you that you should be doing when you were 5 years old or yesterday. You know, find your truth, locate your own inner compass, and move through life from there. I can't tell you what your life is going to look like when you do that. Only you can discover what your life will feel like, be like, look like when you do that. And only you can do that for you. So lean in, find your center, find your compass, and walk from that place. I know you have it in you, dear soul sister. I'll see you on the new moon. I hope that there was something here for you. Always, always sending you love.